What if the thing that you are trying to hide about yourself is the one thing that God actually created within you to be used for his kingdom? That's a bar. That's a bar. Like, what? Hey guys, it's your girl Coach Dez. Welcome back to my channel. On today's video, I want to talk to you guys about some of the things that God is doing in my life. One of them being how okay it is to be yourself within God's kingdom. I think that our essence and like our personalities and who we are and who God has created us to be, our uniqueness and the experiences that we have gathered throughout our lifetimes, I think that they're precious and they should be treasured and they're valuable. I've been doing things with the youth at my church and I've been able to kind of see how my authenticity and me just showing up like as myself, how that has been positively received. Where I used to feel like it was something that I kind of had to put to the side or like not show too much of. Of course, when I say that, it's like you want to use discretion in every situation that you're in, right? Like sometimes the way that you express yourself, like you do want to kind of read the room and see what's appropriate and how you can be yourself in that space. I feel like me being around the kids and just showing them like my personality and speaking to them in a way that resonates with me, it is like resonating with them. A lot of that authenticity, I want to say that it didn't really come in until I like became 30, but I don't really think that the age has much to do with it more than like my security and who I am in Christ. It's not like I hit 30 and just became like this super secure, like person who just knew everything about me and what I like and what I don't like. Because honestly and truthfully, I'm still like, I don't want to say discovering those things because I do have a good sense of what I like and what I don't like, but I'm still like affirming those things in my life and I'm still like open and curious to like new opportunities and possibilities. So I'll never say that like, I found all that there is to know as far as what I like, but the foundation of who I am has definitely been like solidified in this last season. Like I feel like God has allowed me to just rest in his word and rest in like the identity that he has given me. And because that identity is like solid and it doesn't shake. And when I speak on that identity in Christ, like that I'm a new creation in Christ, that I was fearfully and wonderfully made, that I am a royal priesthood. And also I think one of the biggest ones is like how I said before that I am a new creation in Christ Jesus and I am holy and set apart. And I think that that identity has allowed me to build upon like, okay, so now I can still be Dez who, likes to work out, but I'm still fearfully and wonderfully made and I'm still set apart by Christ. So I'm going to still work out, but I'm going to do it a little different. Like I'm going to not glorify and idolize the gym. I'm not going to show up to the gym with like unmodest clothes on because I have now been set apart for Christ, right? So I still do the things that I love, but I just bring that truth of Christ into those things. I was watching with the Perrys. Jackie Perry was talking to like their guest. I don't know his name. Jackie had asked him, like, do you feel like things that you used to do for the world, God is now using for his kingdom? And the guy was like, for sure. Like in the world, I was like calling shots and being a leader amongst my peers. And now I get to use that and, run a church. So he's able to use those same skill sets and abilities that he had in the world and is now able to use them for the kingdom. And I think that for me, that was like, yes, like very confirming, especially with what I'm saying right now. That was so confirming for me. Like that was probably like the biggest thing that I took away. Like I just feel like God has really shown me his love for me and his love that he had for me since I was like in my mother's womb and from the very beginning. And some of the things about myself that I subdued because they were once used by the enemy and perverted, and I felt like all of that was bad. It's like, no, that wasn't bad. Like, that's your nature, and that's like who God has purposed you to kind of be, and that's the uniqueness that God crafted you with. But the enemy took those things and tried to pervert those gifts and talents and abilities and interests. He perverted those things in the world. But now that you're in Christ, Christ has redeemed you completely, redeemed you as an individual, and he's now able to take those same things that were once used for evil and now use them for good. For example, when I was like a dancer, right, I used to really like being a dancer because I liked the idea of like getting dressed up. Like, I liked the idea of like being seen. I wasn't heard. I was gonna say being seen and heard, but I definitely wasn't heard at all. Nobody was listening to me. Nobody cared about anything that was coming out my mouth. But the point that I'm trying to make is that I enjoyed the showmanship. Like, I enjoyed like getting dressed and looking beautiful and like putting on makeup and doing my hair and like just being like this item of affection and something to be desired and something to be looked at and like marveled. I think that I really, really liked that. Like, I liked the showmanship. I liked being on stage and like performing and doing the dance and doing all those things, right? Now, mind you, like before I was like a teenager or an adult or whatever, I was always in dance school. Like, my mom put me and my sister in dance school, and as a young child, I never liked sports. Never, ever liked sports. Like, my dad would try to put me in like karate. He tried to put me in track. Baby, I sucked out. It's not even that I sucked out all of them. I never gave them enough of a chance for me to excel. Like, I hated it. Like, I hated it. I did not want to be there. Like, I remember my first track practice. I was so bad. Like, I was so out of shape compared to everyone else that was there that I was so embarrassed, and I did not ever want to go back. Like I told them, I was like, I never want to go back. Like, don't ever bring me back to this track. But for some reason, I love dance, right? And I remember I always loved dance. Like, I was in dance school even from when I was like, I think 5 or 6 years old. Like, my mom had me in dance school at a very young age. I remember back in the day, like, we would have like singers, you know, like groups like 3LW and Destiny's Child, the Cheetah Girls, like, and I would just always love like the idea of like me and my cousins, like, come on, let's learn the dance. Like, let's learn the dance. Let's like dress up like them. Let's sing the songs and like practice and like be like them. So I always loved showmanship. And then like when I became a teenager, I was in dance school and stuff, and I was in dance school for a few years. I loved that. When I got to college, I was in this like modeling group. Like, if you ever been to a HBCU, you probably have a modeling group in your HBCU, and I love that. Like, oh my god, you couldn't tell me nothing. Like, when it was my turn, like, I'm walking down the stage and stuff. So like, yeah, you know, I love stuff like that. And like in my adult years, like, again, like part of me like had kind of put that aside, or like I don't really bring that out all the time because in the past it has been perverted, right? Like dressing up and like feeling yourself and like looking all cute and like putting on makeup. It's like, are you trying to be humble? You know, like how in the church it's like, be modest, like be humble and all of these things like that. And so sometimes I would stray away from doing that. And then sometimes also I would stray away from doing that because I just don't feel like the season called for it. But I feel like right now I'm in this season where I'm like, you know what? I want to bring all of those things more to the forefront. Like, I want to be like cute, but I still want to be like Coach Dez because I love fitness too. Like, I want to work out. I want to be cute. I want to be like powerful and bold, but I still want to like do girly things. Like, I want to speak and present, and I want to make content, and I want to, you know, speak about Jesus. But at the same time, I still like want to serve and work hard. I want to do all of those things. And I think, and I know that I believe God thinks that like, that's okay. Like, that's fine, girl. Like, if anything, I feel like it's like, finally, you're like not letting like the pain that you've been through, like, show. Like, not letting all of the trauma that you've been through, or all of the hardships that you've been through, or like allowing those past mistakes of using your beauty and exploiting it, or using it, like allowing it to be perverted by the enemy, like not letting that past like dictate how you're going to show up in your future, you know, but more so just learning and surrendering that to God. I really love that for me. And I want that for you guys too. Like, I want you to be multifaceted and to know that it's okay to like be all the different parts of you. And I pray that like we both like really learn to like navigate those things well, you know, but also not feel bad so much like when we can't be all of those things at once, because I think that sometimes is like impossible. Like, there's a time and a place for everything, right? And the Bible talks about that, like different seasons and stuff. Like, just knowing that wisdom of like, not every day calls for like a B face, and knowing that like that's okay, and it doesn't make you not being you. It's just like, you know, in this season right now, that's just not what's showing up. But please believe, when I do pop out, don't be surprised. when I do put it on, don't be surprised. Don't look at me funny, because I'm not trying to make you feel bad. I'm just trying to just express myself. Like, this is what I like. One question that I want to ask you, that I feel led to ask you, is like, what if the thing that you are trying to hide about yourself is the one thing that God actually created within you to be used for his kingdom? Ooh! That's a bar. That's a bar. Like, what? What if the sound of your voice that you hate so much is the thing that God designed about you to be used for his kingdom and his purpose? And because you won't let it out, God can't fulfill it through you. Just saying. So yeah, guys, Joy Mug is out. My mug line has launched. Okay, I love Joy. Like, she's cute. She's a cutie patootie. Like, she gives me happy. Like, she gives me artsy. She gives me bold. Okay. So I love Joy. If you want to cop a mug, 1, 2, 3, 4. If you want to cop a mug, the link will be in the description below to my Etsy shop, which is Julia and Betty. Shout out to my grandmas, Julia and Betty, in the heavenly realms. Get you a little affirmation mug, so while you're doing your things, you can sip on some tea or your coffee, whatever you prefer, whatever your drug of choice is. But I say all of that to say, guys, be yourself. And if you are not in spaces that allow that, then step out of those spaces a little bit. If you can. I know that sometimes you can't, but if you can. And try to get yourself around more people who you can be fully you around, and who celebrate that, because I celebrate that. So if you want to be yourself around me, then I love that for you. But yeah, that's all, guys. That's all I have. That's really all I have. That's all I have for right now. So until next time, it's your girl, Coach Dez. Be well, be blessed, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.